What are you thinking about right now?
Question one.
Oh, it's been a minute since I podcasted. I miss it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is your experience with podcasting?
At first it was way out of my comfort zone and I was nervous the whole time. But now it's like, no, like this is awesome. Like I get to talk about shit, and like when you get in like in front of a microphone or a camera, it's like you kind of just turn it on. So it's been cool.
Yeah, you're a performer when it comes down to the podcast. And you got thrown in the deep waters too.
Oh yeah.
With like the Blind Bachelor.
Oh yeah.
I'm doing a podcast with Tyler, who's basically, already famous on Big Brother.
Yep.
So you walked into it and you already had like a huge audience.
Yeah, it wasn't like I got to like get my feet under me and experiment a little first. It was like, no, like our first episode had a shit ton of views.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every reel, like sometimes thousands and thousands of views.
Oh yeah, I mean I think one of our reels has 600K on it. And that was like, I think the third or fourth reel re-released.
Yeah.
Which is just wild.
Why do you love podcasting?
Because I'm a social guy, and like, honestly, it's just new to me, dude. I'm like kind of pushing myself a little bit doing this, and I don't know. I think I've always kind of wanted to like have some type of platform or like be able to speak my mind in a positive way, and this is like kind of feeding that creative energy that I didn't know I had or like haven't gotten to experience in my life yet. So,
has it helped with the dating scene?
No. No, we're still single over here. But honestly though, it's a me thing. I haven't really focused on dating too much at this point. I think I actually tried to. God, we're gonna go down a rabbit hole here. But I tried to recently. I had kind of the thought of like, I've been so intentional this year about everything else in my life, and I kind of thought about dating, and I was like, I've never been intentional about dating. Like I've kind of always let whatever happens, like whoever comes in my life, see how it goes, which is, I don't think is a bad way to look at it.
Yeah.
But I kind of went through this thing. I'm like, I've never like actually intentionally dated to be like, hey, I want to find someone.
Yeah.
So I tried it and went on a couple dates. Some all right ones, some not so all right ones. And dude, I just kind of like paused after it and actually like looked at myself, and I was like, I've been through so many fucking changes like this year. I mean, quit my job in March, and then basically became a business owner of 2 companies right after that. Started the Wavelength simultaneously with becoming a new business owner.
It's crazy.
And then just recently, like I knew this was coming too, but like my little brother just moved in with me.
Oh shoot.
So yeah,
nice.
So like just whole different changes, and I'm trying to like help him with his life and get him out of Michigan and get around people like people that are in Nashville.
Yeah.
But I also haven't had a roommate in 4 years, and it's definitely adjustment. So
yeah, change is rough, but it's exciting.
Yeah.
Most
Oh
of the
yeah.
time.
Yeah. It's just been a lot of change this year, and then I mean right before that, but before all the changes, I went through a breakup that like fucked me up a little bit, to be honest.
Sure.
So yeah, I kind of just took a step back on dating. I'm like, I'm good for now, and I'm kind of back to where like, hey, if it happens and it's like it makes sense, and I actually feel myself wanting it, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Like I'll give it a shot. Like I'm not saying no, but I'm not necessarily out there looking for it.
Exactly.
Yeah. In my experience, being a recently divorced single man myself, I was on the dating profile websites, all that stuff, and man,
I've seen them.
It's
one, it's tough. 2, it's exhausting. And then when we did the Blind Bachelor, I was talking to all the girls up here about their experiences, and they're experiencing the same thing. Now I know it's different, but it doesn't seem like anyone's really happy with dating sites. It seems, it's scarcity versus abundance mindset, right? And I remember reading in Matthew McConaughey's book, when he found his wife, he just stopped trying and he was doing his thing.
Yes.
And I really feel like when I look back on my life, when I'm like really in the zone, doing my thing, doing my mission, being my best self, and not worried about anything like that, not on social media all the time or dating sites, checking to see if I've got messages or anything. That's when it happens. That's when you meet the person, when you're really in your element. And I know Zach's a youngin' over here compared to me, but you gave me that advice even before I went on the dating sites. And how many months is it later? And dating sites got me on a couple dates, but it was just kind of hit or miss. and it really wasn't anything close to what I was looking for. I was glad that I got the reps in and all of that. I feel like every date I've been on, I learn more about myself and more about other people and what I'm looking for and not. So going on dates is great, but yeah, you can still do that focusing on yourself and everything you've got going on.
I think the dating sites are fine. It's just like when it comes like another app like Instagram or TikTok and you're just kind of like scrolling through it.
It feels like a game.
Yeah, it could feel like a game, or you're just like super desperate. And like when you're desperate, like things, you just don't attract things like that, you know?
Yeah, I hadn't been on a dating app. God, probably for 5-6 years.
Dang.
It was my first year here in Nashville, and I was on dating apps and whatever. And then I ended up dating a girl for 2 years, moved in with her, all this stuff. So I hadn't been, and then we obviously broke up. But since that, I met her the first year I lived here. So since that point until however many months ago this year, I hadn't been on a dating app since then. So that's at least 5 years.
That's crazy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they can work. It's just I feel like I met my girlfriend on a dating app, Hinge. But in Nashville, dude, there's so many things to do. Like, you don't need them. You know
that's where I was kind of at. Like, I got back on the app, and like I was like, this just sucks. Yeah. Like, you're just forcing conversation, and like it doesn't seem genuine at all to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's just like, I mean, realistically, like dating apps, you're looking at people off looks, and like people are looking at you off looks, and it's like that's how it starts. And like, I don't know. And don't get me wrong, looks are very important to me, like I get it, but I don't know, it just feels so surface level. Like I don't know if I could actually form like a genuine connection off that. And you're right, Nashville is like, I wouldn't
it's one
say,
of the best places in the world.
I mean, it's not necessarily the best dating scene to like find your
not Broadway,
not Broadway, but like it is. I mean, there's a lot of people doing a lot of cool things, and you can go meet people anywhere here.
Yeah, I mean,
and it kind of came to a point where I was like, I don't need these dating apps.
Exactly. I mean, there's running clubs, which is basically like a dating app in itself.
Yep.
Pickleball. You go to different gyms. There's so many social things that you can do. Events. I mean, here, honestly, like we throw events here. Like I'm sure things have happened here.
Yep.
So yeah, the scene is big here.
Yeah. There's so much you can do. There was a point in time I was playing 4 intramural sports a week. I was playing softball, volleyball, soccer, and kickball.
Yeah,
like,
it's way better to
so
meet
many
a girl
people
like that
at once.
Yeah,
100%.
So you started in corporate America. What did you do, and then where are you at right now? You're an entrepreneur. You're a business owner now, right?
Yeah.
So corporate America, what do you do? How was that journey?
So it was interesting. I mean, just backstory of my life. Like in college, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I went into college thinking I wanted to be a vet, and was a biology major, so pre-med major. And then within the first probably 2 weeks, sitting in the biology classes and math classes, I was like, wow, I'm not smart enough for this. Yeah, there ain't no way I'm graduating with this degree. So,
or it's just not worth it. Like maybe you could do it, it's just not worth it.
True. Yeah. Either way, but I got into college algebra, and they gave us the first day, they gave us a quiz of what you should know. I got a 2 out of 40.
Gotcha.
So I was like,
maybe not then.
Yeah. I was like, there's no way. There's no way. But, so I changed my major then to education. And then I think within that same semester, I was like, dude, I'm going to pigeonhole myself in education. Like there's one path, and it's teacher. Of course you can branch off and do whatever. But I ended up switching to like just a business/communications degree with a sales and marketing minor, just because I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I finished that degree, graduated on time with somehow changing my major 3 times. But right after school, didn't have really like a career lined up. Of course, I did like internships in college and stuff like that, but I didn't have like a specific career lined up, mainly because I was up in Ohio. So I knew I was moving to Nashville at that point, like my last semester, so I wasn't going to take a job that they were offering me in Ohio. And I just moved down here with literally packed my 2003 Ford Escape and just no AC in it, just packed my car. I had mattress pads hanging out the window, like TV hanging out the back window, like all that stuff, and moved in with my older brother down here. And then I had a girl who was in all of my sales and marketing classes in college, and she started working for this company up in Cleveland, and I was just like, she seemed to be liking it, so I was like, hey, see if they have one in Nashville. Like, kind of need a job. I've interviewed a couple places and they've all been dog shit. So, went and interviewed there and got the job. And it's one of the biggest staffing companies in the nation, honestly, potentially the world, but they're huge. But I did that for 7 years. So I didn't have another corporate America job. I stayed at the same place for 7 years.
Damn.
First year I got moved around a lot. Like, I jumped from one team to another team, and then I was about to quit after my first year because I was recruiting at that point. And I hated recruiting. I knew my path there was going to be sales if I was going to stay.
Right.
But I didn't have like the accolades a lot of people did that were in a good place in recruiting where they weren't moving around too much. And luckily one of we had a new director come in and he saw something in me and he was like, and he knew I was going to quit. Yeah. So I kind of made it pretty clear after that first year. I was like, hey, this sucks. And he was like, don't quit. I'll promote. He's like, if you give me one more month, help this other account manager run his accounts for the rest of the year and some projects, and you do a good job, we'll promote you in December. So waited it out, got promoted into sales, and then honestly had a super successful sales career. I ended up, by the time I left, I was running Amazon headquarter accounts across the country.
Crazy.
So yeah, but super successful, but like still at that point in time, it was like I wasn't fulfilled. I had more money than I ever thought I'd ever make in my life, to be honest. Yeah, like, I mean, just outrageous. I bought my dad a car.
Yeah.
Like, I was giving back to my family, which is like all I wanted to do at that point. Like, I got to pay off my student loans. I bought a house. Like, it was just, I never thought I'd be doing that. And when did I buy my house? I guess like I was 26, 27. So just, and I'm super thankful for it. But at the same time, like, I was not fulfilled, like, personally at all. Yeah. I was like, I'm either going to stay in this role for however long, and I kind of saw, like, hey, here's the next move in the company, and then here's that next move in the company. And I looked at, like, my bosses and some changes that were happening in the company. I'm like, that's not what I want to do. So it's either I'm going to stay stagnant and just make money and hopefully get some fulfillment for myself somewhere else, or I've got to make a move.
Right.
So then I started just learning how to, like, invest in different stuff and deals, and I was kind of looking into real estate, but I was kind of at the point where it was like, I need to get out now. Like, I won't be able to fake it much longer than I was going to earlier. So yeah, dude, I just started looking at buying businesses, and then I bought 2 companies with a business partner of mine, and literally started my podcast right after that.
Yeah.
So
when was the point where you're like, yo, like, enough is enough, like, I'm done? Was there like a moment, or did it kind of just like build up?
Man, there was a moment. I'm trying to think when it was. Our company did a lot of, like, different changes. So we split off into 3 companies, and then everything was actually going good when we were in, like, my individual company.
Right.
And then all of a sudden they were like the next year. It was like 3 years of, like, big, massive company changes. And then there was the third time where it was like, hey, your company is dissolving and you're going in. You're going to merge with one of the other ones. And I was just like, I'm out. Yeah. Like, there's just no point. I had a new boss. I think the longest, like, actual boss I had there was a year and a half, 2 years out of 7 years. I had a new boss other than that every year.
Crazy.
So it was wild. Yeah. But there was just no, like, you couldn't, like, get in a flow almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What do you think happens after we die?
Switching topics. What do I think happens after we die? Man, I believe in heaven. Like, I believe there's definitely afterlife, and mainly because I've seen it. My grandpa actually just passed earlier this year, and this is the first experience I've had with it, but, like, my mom, like, and dad, whoever has experienced, like, a lot of, you know, death longer in their life. My grandpa, when he died, he was, like, already gone. He was already, like, talking to people on the other side. Like, he was saying names that, like, he was saying his brother's name who died.
That's crazy.
30 years ago.
Yeah.
And, like, like, having full conversations. Wow. And saying, like, oh yeah, Kathy's here, like, whatever. And it actually happened with his wife, my grandma, too. She was, like, saying everybody else's
I've heard
names.
Stories like that before, too.
Yeah. And I don't know, dude. I just I do believe in all that stuff. So I don't necessarily know what else, but
what are your views on like God and stuff?
Oh, I mean, I fully believe in God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who do you think God is?
I don't. I mean, like
how would you explain God to someone?
That's a tough question. How would you explain God to someone? Give me.
I would say like God is love.
Okay.
I would say God is Jesus.
Yeah.
And like
I would say God is Jesus.
Yeah, he's in the Bible. So like if you really want to know who God is, just read the Bible. And,
Yep.
You know, he's healed people.
Yep.
He rose from the dead. He died for our sins.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say about the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think.
Did you grow up with like religion or like going to church or like having a relationship with God?
Yes, but not like.
What up, boy?
What up, buddy?
Come here.
I don't know. I had a different experience, and I guess is only comparing it to like my friends and people I grew up with and a lot of people I know. I wasn't Catholic. So like I wasn't in like the normal church, if that makes sense. We did go to church, but it was more of like super chill church. Like hey, like we're going to talk about the Bible and like talk about certain parts of the Bible, and like it was almost like a small group setting rather than going to church.
That's way better, I think.
It was way better.
Yeah. I honestly don't agree with like Catholic and some of the ways like other churches do things.
I don't either.
Because it's like a religion, it's like a set of principles, and a lot of it's man-made. A lot of it's like a man having their one perspective on it.
Yeah,
like,
it's like made by fucking, like the rules are made by popes. And
right.
like from however long ago, and like that wasn't really what God said.
Yeah.
Like, and that's fine. Like you can practice however you want to practice. Like,
yeah, if it gets you closer and builds that relationship, I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
For sure. But yeah, I don't know. I don't believe in just all of like that you have to push it on other people and like a lot of stuff that the church says. I genuinely, and this is going to sound so basic, but like I believe like, hey, if you're a good person and like obviously like pray and talk to God and have that relationship, but like if you're just a good person and try and do your best and like are thankful for your life and ask for guidance in your life, like I mean that's what religion is to me.
Yeah, I think it's almost like a choice where it's like you either can be with God or you can separate yourself from God.
Yeah.
And if you want to be separated from God, like God's gonna like, okay, like go your way. Yeah. But if you want to be with me, here's the relationship, and here's eternal life.
Yeah. You want to know? I saw this. I think this was on another podcast actually, or it was some reel. But I felt guilty for a while, especially just in like I think it was like college, where I just like kind of lost my relationship with God. Where I mean, dude, I used to pray and I do now, but like every night before I go to bed, I would pray. And there was just a time where I think life got busy and I would like forget to pray. Yeah. Like I would just kind of fall asleep. And there'd be other times, and this still happens actually to this day, but where like you're praying and you just fall asleep halfway through. Yeah. Like I think about that the next morning. I'm like, damn, I didn't really finish that at all. Right. But there was I heard this somewhere, and it was like, imagine like your girlfriend or someone you care about like talking to you, like you guys are laying in bed, they're talking to you, and they fall asleep halfway through. Yeah. Like then their sentence. Are you gonna think that's a bad thing, or are you just gonna think they were tired and like right? But like that's how like God looks at it. Like if you're praying and you fall asleep, like you're his child. Like it's okay. Yeah. So I was like that actually kind of gave me some peace in a way.
What do you do now to like do you do it like do you pray still every night?
Yeah,
like,
every night.
Is there anything else that you do to build that relationship with God, to get closer to God? And is there times where like you know that you're close to God, and is your life like different when you are closer?
Yeah. Honestly, I haven't been to church in a minute. I actually want to start getting back into that, because I mean I think that does help you feel closer to God. I just haven't really found one here.
Yeah, church is interesting because some churches it's just like an experience. Like you go, you experience like the music and like you hear the sermon and then you leave, and like you really don't build community. And I think church is all about the community. It's the body of Christ. Yeah. So it's not necessarily a big white building with like piano music. Yep. Like church could be like we could have church here, like have a circle and just like talk about life, talk 100%. About our problems, whatever it is.
Yeah. Which is my ideal church too. Church. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, you got to come to Future. So like we yeah, they actually feed you. It starts at 5 p.m. on Sunday. The full course meal. I'm talking like steak, like
No way.
prime rib or whatever they serve. Yeah, full course meal. They have like 10 trays of food. Like first hour, you just sit at tables and talk with random people. Next hour is like worship, and like there's some like big names in there. Not that that matters, but like there's some like influence, and like it's a small church too.
Really?
They get deep.
Really?
Like, I cry probably like every other time I go.
No way.
Yeah.
Where's it at?
It's in Franklin at the factory.
No way.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, just come check it out one day, dude.
Yeah, if you go, let me know.
Yeah.
But
I'll go next Sunday, so if you
all
want
right.
to go.
All right.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I actually want to start. I've actually started. I've had a really hard time falling asleep lately. And I've started reading before bed, which I haven't read a book since like 6th grade. I swear to God. But yeah,
Tough, man.
but I've just had like a really hard time sleeping, like just falling asleep, letting my mind calm down. And TV wouldn't do it for me. I actually never watched TV before bed. And I just was like, screw it. I've bought these books that I told myself I was going to read, and I haven't read them. So I started reading, and that's really helped me fall asleep before bed. So once I finish the book I'm on now, I think I want to start reading. Like, I've actually never read through the Bible. So I think I want to do that.
Yeah, the Bible's tough, man. Because like you read it and you're like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to sit there and you have to like read it again and then try to understand it and reflect on it. So I'm doing a Bible study right now. I think that's a lot easier because like,
Really?
yeah, it's someone who like read the Bible multiple times. They know it inside and out, so they can read it, kind of like tell you like what this means, and then kind of just bring you all the important stuff. So they kind of give you like the full picture of the Bible, so you know like what happens in the Old Testament, the New Testament, Revelation, and like so you can see the whole picture. So when you do read the Bible, it makes sense.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably should do that then too.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, man. It's a lot of work, but I think it's worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just something I've never done. So I want to do that. But I mean, other than really like praying is like my biggest thing, and like honestly just like thanking. Yeah. Like I recognize even in like harder parts of my life, like there's been so many things, and this is honestly a major reason I believe in God, and not to discredit anything else, but like dude, when I look back at like certain situations in my life, like there's been so many things that I thought it was the end of the world. And like if that didn't happen, like I wouldn't have been or had this like amazing fucking experience on the other side. And it's really hard to do that in the moment though.
It is.
It's so hard to do that in the moment. But when I look back on it, I'm like, oh, I would have been able to do this if that stayed the course. So,
I think in those moments, like a lot of times you're kind of mad at God.
Oh yeah.
Like you're asking like, why did this happen to me? Like sometimes you're just raging, pissed off, whatever it is.
For sure.
Just don't understand it all.
For sure. But yeah, and just like, I mean, we were talking about money earlier and like how I got to like buy my dad a car and all this other stuff, but it's just like, part of me is just like, I can't thank myself for that. Like I have to be able to thank someone else for that. Like there's no way that I got put in all these fucking little situations and it ended up being that. Like I didn't work hard enough to have all that money, to be honest, or to be able to do those things for my family. So like I always I have to give thanks.
I love that, bro. What legacy or impact do you want to leave here?
Like on earth, just like in general.
Just like in this life, like what do you want to be known for? What legacy do you want to leave?
Man, that's a great question. There's a lot, dude. I think I've actually struggled a lot with like knowing who I am a lot of my life. I've talked about this before, but I think I've like really struggled and still to this day am. But this is the first time I'm actually like trying to do new shit and like really figure that out. So this question is hard for me to answer because I genuinely don't know what my legacy is. But I think the biggest thing that I want people to think about me as if I leave, like, hey, I was a good friend. I was a good person. I treated people well. I was positive, and I want to be able to change people's lives for the better. Even if it's just from a mindset perspective of like, or motivationally, spiritually, whatever. I think I just want to be known as, I think the best thing someone could tell me is I was a good friend to them.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I think a good way to look at it is like, who's your biggest role model? Like, who's your biggest mentor? And it's probably pretty similar to like them. If you're like looking at them and like you kind of like almost in a sense like want to be them or do life like them, it might be similar to them. So who would be like your biggest role model, mentor?
Man, I would say my dad, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is so funny because like I'm so like money motivated and worried about money, and my dad has never had money. But like just the way my dad like carries himself and is always like, no matter what will be, and he's not a healthy dude. He's had 2 knee replacements, a hip replacement. Like he's not mobile.
Yeah.
But like in an instant, he will be helping someone or he will be doing something for someone, like no questions asked. And just like the way he treats my mom. Fuck, I'm gonna get emotional.
I love it, bro.
Yeah, the way he treats my mom, like, dude, he's like, just treats her like they probably were on day one. Like they still hold hands. He opens every door for her. Like we'll always cater to my mom, and my mom's a fucking saint herself. So, yeah, I think just treating people like my dad treats people.
I love that. Yeah, because you can see his heart.
Dude, you caught me.
I love it. This is what we want.
Thanks.
I've actually made like a ton of people cry because I do interviews all the time, and like deep interviews. Like I put like 2 lights on them and like I just drill them for like an hour.
Yeah.
For like the videos that I do. So yeah, but I love getting deep with people. I love like bringing out like the emotions because it's like you can see the heart now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's nothing covering. It's like totally authentic.
Yeah.
But as far as your dad, yeah, it sounds like he just has like so much like love. Like you just see love. Like that's what you see. Like you see his heart. And just the way that he treats, like you want to like one day like treat a girl like he treats other people.
100%.
Like your mom as well.
Yeah, because I mean that is something I value myself in. I've actually had, like we talked about this earlier, like I've had like super interesting relationships with women. Like sometimes I'm a fucking cannonball, dude. Like don't give a fuck. Like sleep with whoever, whatever. Like party, all this stuff, and then I feel really, once I like get off that tear or whatever, like I feel so fucking bad about myself. And I think it's because like I'm not treating people like the way I want to. Yeah. And granted, dude, like I don't know, people say bad things about it, but like you're allowed to have fun. And like even my girlfriends, like my close girlfriends that like would probably be like, Alex, you're an asshole. They're like, Alex, you're so hard on yourself. Yeah. Like you are allowed to like have fun and a date, and like it's not the end of the world if like something doesn't work out or you hurt somebody's feelings. And I'm like, you're right. But I forget where I was going with that whole thing, but I guess like, oh yeah, what I was gonna say is like I absolutely want, like never would want to treat anyone else like my dad treats my mom. Like when I'm in a relationship, dude, like if someone tells me I'm not a good boyfriend or they're mad at me, like that's like the worst scenario for me, because I like genuinely I really care. If I get in a relationship with you, like I really care about you, because it's really hard for me to get in like a committed relationship. 100%. So but I think I get that from definitely seeing how my dad treats my mom, because I'm like I want to treat every woman, girl with like that respect. So, and it's funny that I say like and this is not shitting on my dad, but like my dad is like, he hasn't been healthy and like doesn't work out, and I've never seen that side of him. So like we're on the other side, I'm like, no, I want to be like the best version of myself. Like I want to be as healthy as possible. I've always been like a super healthy eater.
And I think your dad would like respect that
for sure.
At the end of the day.
For sure.
It's like, don't take this from me, but take this from me.
Yeah.
You know, because nobody's perfect at the end of the day.
No, 100% not. Absolutely. But yeah, but it's just funny. Like I like think of my dad as like the highest like person ever. Yeah. But it's like really the things I work for on myself are just totally different.
Well, he literally created you, like physically created you, but also just like, you know, he was your mentor growing up for years and years and years. Taught you how to do everything. Taught you all the man stuff. What do you think? How do you think a man should treat a woman in a relationship? Like, what are the attributes? What are some of the things that they should be doing? Like, how do you be a gentleman in the relationship?
Man, it can be as simple as fucking making sure you open their car door for them. Making sure you open doors for them. bringing them flowers. Like, it can be all of the simple stuff in a relationship, I think adds up so much. Like, it can be the littlest shit. And like, there's going to be other guys that never did that stuff for her. Yeah. My dad makes sure to open my mom's car door every single time. Like, my dad will be the first one out of the house to go make sure her door's open.
Yeah. 2 blown out knees, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So there's no excuse there.
Yeah, there's no excuse.
Yeah.
Like, you have to do the little things. And then I'm the wrong person to be asking relationship advice for. But, dude, I think the biggest thing I'm learning is you have to be so okay and good with yourself too. Like, first.
Yeah.
Cause like, if you're not, and there's so many factors, but like, if you're leaning on another person, or you're like depending on someone else for your happiness. Yeah. And if you don't have your own mission, like, that is going to deeply affect your relationship. And I don't think people realize that. Yeah. I'm actually reading a book, the book I'm reading right now. It's I'm not gonna be able to remember what it's called, but it's like about understanding women. But dude, it actually, like, it sounds so lame. And this girl Paige DM'd me it. She's like, after my relationship episode, she's like, hey, I think you need to read this book. And I was like, okay, whatever. And it was like $12 on Amazon, so I bought it. I think it's called Understanding Women Better. And it's been so eye-opening to me, not on how to like treat women, but how to be like your masculine self. Yeah. In like a good way of like, hey, this is what will actually make your relationship with women better. And it has nothing to do with what I just said, like opening car doors and all this other stuff. It's all about like, hey, women like people with a mission and that are confident in themselves. Yeah. And that also don't try and fix their significant other's problems. Like, you're not there to go fix all of
You're just there to listen.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Literally. That's what the book says. It's like they want you as a sounding board. Yeah. And they want you to be, when they're down, they want you to be the strong one. Yeah. Like, they want you to just be present, listen, not fix everything for them. Yeah. But just be like a confident, strong person for them to have, even just like in a present sense. Yeah. So I'm learning a lot actually from this book. But
yeah, I feel like most of the time they just want you to listen. But like, a question that you could ask, be like, hey, do you just want me to listen right now, or do you want my advice? Yeah. And then if they want it, then you give it. But if not, like, hey, I know, we're good here.
Yeah, it's crazy because I've always been a fixer.
Yeah. So, yeah, I can relate.
Yeah. Like, I've always, but it's because I want to help people. Yeah. But that doesn't necessarily just come off the right way, or that's not really how you can be. So, yeah, dude, this book, it's fucking crazy, but it's making me look back at my last relationship that has been like, I literally told my therapist the other day, I was like, how the fuck do I get over this? Like, how do I let this go? Cause like, I'm like, it's been 6 months now, like 7 months now.
You have a therapist?
Yeah.
But how long have you been doing that?
A year now.
What has your experience been? Because I have 2 different views on this. I never had a therapist, so I can't say from like my own experience. But I guess one view is like therapy, like you get your problems out, you can finally just like say your mind, whatever it is. But another view is like you just like show up and you just consistently just like talk about your problems. And I feel like sometimes you bring them to life even more. So I want to hear your take on it, since like you're in the arena.
Dude, I get the second view.
Yeah. And I think it depends on who your therapist is.
I think it depends on who your therapist is, and I think it depends what type of person you are.
Yeah.
So like, for me personally, I don't talk about all of my shit openly with friends, like my parents. So like, I don't really let that stuff out. And then when I go to therapy, that's where I get to let it out. Yeah. So like, that, it's good for me in that aspect. And like, my therapist I like, because I think there's another darker side of therapy of like, dude, people are going to therapy for validation, and these counselors are just being like, oh, you're fine.
The victim
mentality. Oh, this isn't your fault. Yeah. Like, this just happens. Like, that's bullshit in my opinion, because then it's like, you're almost like a fucking narcissist. Because then you're just like validating that you've done wrong shit. Right. So I think that's the darker side of therapy. For me, therapy has been great just because like, I have an unbiased opinion, and she's not sitting here telling me like, you're a good person. You're right. Fuck your ex-girlfriend. Fuck that girl. Fuck your friend.
Right.
Like, she's not saying stuff like that. She like literally just listens to me. And like, I think as men, dude, I think girls have more people in their life, and this might be just like generalizing, but I think girls have a lot more emotional people in their life, like their girlfriends, their moms, like stuff like that they can connect with and like talk about things with, where I think almost guys going to therapy, or even if it's just like a mindset coach, there's a lot of good coaches I know out there that almost act as therapists but in a different way. But I think us doing stuff like that is important, because I think we bottle stuff up more than the average person.
For sure.
Like, I think,
especially if you're an introvert guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're an extrovert, like, you might be more like a girl in a sense, where you just kind of spill your emotions. But introvert guy, I can relate to that for sure.
Yeah. How do you feel about guys having girlfriends and girls having like guy friends, etc.?
Oh, interesting. Dang. Like, it kind of depends if like they're attractive or not, and like you can kind of read a guy's intent, like, if, you know. So I don't think there's necessarily like a right and wrong answer there. I think it's just something that you have to read, and then like you have to communicate with your partner. Yeah. I wouldn't rule it all the way off, but I think it needs to be communicated, and like if you can read a guy's intent, like you just express that with your partner. For sure. Yeah, you got to stay away from him. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I only ask that because like, and I do agree with that. Yeah. Like, you have to, if you're like, hey, something's up, just address it. Like, I don't think it's a bad thing either way. I think a lot of these influencers and stuff like to talk about this topic and be like alpha males.
Alpha male situation. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, unfortunately, you have to just be able to trust people. Like,
I mean, you got to know who your partner is too, at the end of the day.
Yeah, for sure. But I say it because like, something else that's been super beneficial in my life that I'm really thankful for is like, I genuinely have really good girlfriends. Like, I have a few specifically, and like, I talk to them about, like, they're the ones I go to other than my boys when it comes to like dating shit or like feeling stuff. Yeah. Like, they're the ones I talk to. And like, I feel like it has made me a lot better in relationships and stuff like that. So I can't like imagine not having like good girlfriends. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I can relate.
So like, when it comes to like that type of stuff where they're like, no, you shouldn't, like, you can't have, your guy can't have a best girlfriend or whatever, or vice versa. I'm like, I just actually disagree with that. I'm like, I actually think it'll help you in the long run if you have the right ones.
Right. And like, you have to like not be attracted to them too at the same time.
For sure.
Right.
Yeah.
But no, I can agree with that.
Yep.
I like that.
Yep.
What's the number one thing on your bucket list?
Dude, I don't think I have one. I don't really have like a big bucket list item that I'm like, I gotta do this before I die. Like, I think the number one thing on my bucket list is just that I don't want to necessarily live like an average life. Like, I just think I want to make sure that I'm the best version of myself, and like, I live a cool life. And that doesn't mean partying all the time. It doesn't mean anything, but like, I just want to be able to experience as much as possible. And there's not one thing that I'm like, oh my God, have to do this before I die. Like, I don't have to go skydive in Dubai. I'll live if I don't do that. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I just want to be able to experience things. Like, I love people. I love traveling. I just want to do life right.
Yeah. What do you want to create or experience more than anything else in life?
What do I want to create or experience more than anything else? Dude, I would just say, God, man, that's a good question. What do I want to create or experience any more in life?
So it could be like create a business.
I give a fuck less about business, to be honest with you. Yeah. Yeah, that's not what feeds me. Yeah, I'm not.
Could be like creating kind of like, I know you're in Action Academy, like creating like a group like that.
Maybe. I don't even see, when you ask me that question, like, the first thing that comes to my mind is not like money or any type of business or anything. Man, I would just say like creating a life that I get to like be with the people I love. Like I would just say love. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I am excited for whenever I find my person, or like, you know, I think I do want a family one day.
Yeah.
But like also at the same time, like I don't
Create
want
a family.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Like I don't want to be like my dad, honestly, in the fact, and this is not a dig at my dad. He like literally had to save our house at one point, but like my dad wasn't around. Like he was working 3 jobs when I was like in my prime of sports. Like I was playing 3 sports at once one summer.
Yeah.
I would have football workout in the morning.
Yeah.
And I should have never played football, by the way. I'm not a football player, but I would have football workouts in the morning. I would have basketball games at noon, like for like our summer tournaments, and then I'd play baseball at night.
Dang.
And like my dad wasn't there. I literally had to catch rides with my friends' dads, and they would like trade off on who. And one of them was Tyler's dad. So Tyler's dad and then our boy Kevin's dad. They would switch off of like, and we were all of course on like separate teams randomly.
Right.
So they would switch off on whose game they were going to, like mine or Tyler's, mine or Kevin's.
Yeah.
And that just sucked. And I just don't want to be that dad. That's why I've kind of been in the entrepreneurial life, or made that change, is because like I want financial freedom is big for me. I don't need to be a millionaire, billionaire, trillionaire, whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's not about that for me. I just want to be able to like have enough money to live the life I want.
Exactly.
And like,
yeah, I hear that a
honestly,
lot actually.
Yeah. Honestly, take care of the people. Yeah. I don't have that whole business grind, crazy fucking mode in me. And also I realized this at an event I went to. You hear all these millionaires and like billionaires, and one of the first things that come out of their mouth, like in their speeches or what they talk about, is they've either been divorced or they almost got divorced. And it's because that's all they fucking care about.
Because they put money before that.
Yeah, they put money before everything, and I just don't want to ever be that person.
Yeah, money is quite literally their god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't want to be that person. Like my biggest thing for being an entrepreneur is that I want to be there for the people that I care about and like love, and I want to have the time to do what I want, and like, I don't know, just not be, corporate America's crazy. It's just crazy that like, I thought about this when I was leaving. I'm like, it feels like you're in kindergarten sometimes. You have to ask to go to the bathroom. Like you get told when you can leave. Yeah. Like a place. Like I get like there's shifts at like when you're working a normal job, like a restaurant or whatever, like you take a shift. But like corporate America, I'm like, dude, you're telling me I have to stay till 5 when I take my computer home and can like work? Like it makes no fucking sense.
It's nuts.
And like you have a meeting but you can't go to the bathroom, like I don't know, dude. It's just crazy.
It's just crazy. Yeah, like you start school at 5-6 years old. Yeah. And I feel like at that point your dream is starting to slowly like simmer away, because like you're just in school, like you have to go to the bathroom, like you're just in class listening to some teacher talk about their opinion, their view, and then they gear you up for college, and then you have to go to the workforce, and it's almost like you're kind of like in jail some of the time.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
You know what I mean? Like
it's a system. Like I'm not trying to sound like fucking Andrew Tate or anything right now, but it's like literally they train your brain from the ground up to almost put you in this like,
they want to confuse you.
Yeah. Just like this systematically like system that like, that was stupid, systematically system.
They're patterning your brain.
Yeah, yeah. It's like patterning your brain to be like, you're just supposed to follow the rules the rest of your life. Yeah. Like you're supposed to do this, this, and this, and this. And this is just how life goes.
Yeah. And that's why entrepreneurs are so passionate, because they know like they cheated the system. Yeah. They got out of the system. Now they're living the dream. Yeah. And they can go travel the world. It's not always about money. It's just, I think it's more about freedom.
It is. And that's all it is for me. Yeah. It's about freedom and just like, honestly, just being able to have the time for myself to be like a better version. Yeah. Yeah. And a better version for other people. Like I said, eventually when I find whoever that person is and I get to have a family or whatever the case is, however it works out, like just being able to be present and like not just so focused on like, had another bad day at work, didn't make a sale, like have this presentation tomorrow that I have
the same shit, different day.
Same shit every day. None of it fucking matters. So yeah, just being able to be present and free and help, you know, like that's where I want to be.
Yeah.
So
what do you value most in order from out of money, faith, family, and health. Like, so first one, that one's the one you value the most.
Money, faith, family, health.
Yeah.
Damn, bro. That's a tough one. Dude, those are all so important. Like they all are. I mean, money would come, I would say would come last.
Yeah. Same.
And that just comes from like, hey, I've come from no money before, and there's been points in my life where I was like happier with no money.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Like, you can't bring that shit with you.
No, you can't bring that shit with you. It doesn't matter. And you can always like, I'll figure it out.
It's abundant.
Yeah. I have the mentality about money that money can always be made.
Yeah.
And there's certain time money comes and goes.
It does.
It does. And like, that's where like, I don't know, you can always make more money.
Yeah.
If you need to turn it on and you're completely broke, I think you can always make more money.
There's literally infinite ways to make money.
Yeah. You can figure it out.
Yeah.
Like there's so many ways as long as you put in the effort.
Yeah.
So money's for sure last. But family, faith, health.
Yeah.
Fuck. Damn, dude. I would say faith is the one that's throwing me off. Because I think I'd put my family above my own health. It's my own health, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd put...
So it's like fitness, what you feed your body, just like your overall system, stress management, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I would still put family above my own health.
Same.
I just don't know if faith comes before or after those. Like, it's important, but oh man, I guess faith would come first, and like that's the more logical answer for me.
Yeah,
because that's like what I think powers it all.
Yeah, it's like what created it all.
Yeah,
like it wouldn't even you would have none of it without God.
Yeah, I was thinking of more of like
yeah,
making sure I'm like praying and like all this other and going to church and stuff, but like no, like faith is more important because it's like it really is like what could change it for you. Yeah, yeah, too. It powers it all, but it could change it. Yeah, so
I agree.
Yeah, I think that's what I would do.
That's exactly what I list them at too.
Cool. I had to get the wheels started on that one.
Yeah, that's a tough question, man. You'll be surprised how many people answer money first.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I'm just not, dude. I'm not wired that way. Maybe it's because I don't come from money. Like I didn't have money growing up.
Well, money is like the god of the world.
Yeah.
But I think faith is like heaven. You know what I mean? So if you're looking up, like you're gonna put your faith first. But if you're a worldly person, and you want to give into those worldly desires and pleasures, you're probably gonna put money first.
True.
Because you have money equals power on this earth.
Yeah.
What's the one thing that breaks your heart the most?
Oh my God. One thing that breaks my heart the most. What's yours? Give me an idea. I need one from you
first.
I have like a lot running through my head, but give me yours first.
I think like the first thing that comes to mind is like just watching people just like kind of like simmer away, just like live a life that's basically hell on earth. Yep. Just like not go for their dream. It just kind of like we were talking about, like same shit, different day. And literally you just watch their life just like waste away.
Yep. I agree with that. That was one that ran through my head. Yeah. Was just people not like being motivated or like having that like drive to like better themselves, and you just see it like you can see the hamster wheel. You can see them just digging themselves more and more into a rut, and they justify it, but like
they literally like manipulate themselves into having reasons to just keep doing what they're doing.
Yeah, it is sad, dude. Yeah, and sometimes I think we need to say that to ourselves, that we have more potential than we think we do.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I could be guilty of that too at certain points in my life.
Oh, I think I for sure am guilty of that.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Because it's like you see so much potential in everybody else too, and you're like, come on, man. But at the same time, I'm like, I fucking have self-doubt like all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, that does suck. Man, the most heartbreaking thing. That's definitely one of mine. I'm trying to think what else like is hard. Dude, I hate losing like good relationships or like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like seeing people, honestly, I hate when I see people go with like the wrong person too, and it changes them.
Yeah.
That's really hard for me to see. I just think like seeing people damage themselves in general is super hard.
Yeah. Death could obviously be a huge one too.
Yeah.
I would probably put that one even above what I just said before.
Yeah. Death is hard.
I think that's
Have
probably
you
the
been
hardest.
around a lot of death?
Well, my dad died when I was 19.
Oh shit.
So it was
I
only,
didn't know that.
yeah, like 5-6 years ago.
Damn.
So yeah, that was definitely the hardest point in my life.
Yeah. I
mean,
literally can't imagine.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I look at it like I'm grateful that I had a dad for 19 years.
Yeah,
And he was
so
a
true.
great dad.
Yep.
Like like I would probably relate to you, probably my biggest role model still to this day.
Yeah.
The way he treated my mom, my family, and provided for us. So
Yeah.
yeah, I can't complain at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah, I had, so Tyler's dad died, and then my buddy Kevin's dad died, and those were like my second dads, and they died within the same year of each other.
Yeah.
So it was like, we had those two, and those two were that was the first 2 times I've like cried at a funeral or like anything like that. I didn't even cry for like my great grandparents that died or like my grandma that died. Like,
Yeah, I feel like when they're super old, it's just like, hey man, well done. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
Like you kind of
Good
did
job.
it all. Like
It
you
was
last a little while, you're
yeah.
here, and like at the end of the day, like it's your time to go to a better place.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
when they die too early, dude, that's hard.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was the first time I felt that. And I was only in like 7th grade, like 7th or
Yeah.
8th grade or something like that. Or I guess maybe it was like freshman year of high school. But yeah, that was the first time where I was like, that wasn't supposed to happen. We had, God, dude, 2 or 3 people die in high school, like of like my classmates or whatever.
Yeah.
All my relatives are gone now. My grandpa was the last standing one. And he died this year. So there's been a decent amount in my life. It's just like you said, like sometimes it's just like way harder than others for whatever reason. It just depends. But yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I've been through a decent amount of it. Like I'm one of my neighbors, like 3 years old. Like he just didn't wake up one day.
No way.
Like the ambulance came and like, yo, like what happened? Like he just passed like out of nowhere. So that was one.
Dude,
And
that
then-
happened to he was a year older than me.
Yeah.
30, I think. Well, he was a couple years older than me. I think he was 31. Last year, he just died in his sleep.
Yeah.
Had a heart attack.
Yeah.
31. It was
Tough,
my basketball coach's
Yeah.
son in high
At
school.
the end of the day, like you also don't want to be like, yo, I'm like scared of that happening to me or like one of my friends or whatever. Cause like living in fear is just like probably like the worst thing, man.
It is, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, that stuff just, it happens and like, you just never know. So like live every day like it's your last, you
Yep.
know,
Yep.
like go for your dream,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, for sure. Because like, and the thing I remind myself a lot is like, and this sounds so cliche, but like nothing really fucking matters.
Yeah.
Like literally it doesn't. Like we think of all this, and I think maybe this is part of just like how you grow up in like this fucking system. But like we think all these big things in life that are like life or death, and they're just like not. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you lost your job, like all world's ending.
Right.
Like no.
Right.
Like you can, it literally doesn't matter. I mean, this is gonna sound like a high thought, but like money's fake. We literally fucking print money.
Right.
Like it's not real. It's fucking paper.
Right.
And it's like made up in a digital fucking bank. Like, isn't that crazy?
It is crazy. Yeah. I've heard like people like Luke Belmar and I don't know if you know him, but yeah, he talks about it. Like it's just, I don't know how to explain it. I want to have a better knowledge on that though. But yeah, it's literally not real.
Yeah, it's made up.
Yeah.
Someone decided this is going to be like a currency instead
Right.
of like trading goods now.
Yeah. And you can trade goods. Like I trade goods all the time. Like when I do a video for people, I don't always trade for money. Sometimes
Right.
it's for an experience or for coaching, whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's value too. It's
Yep.
the same thing.
Yeah. Dustin does that too, who you
Yeah.
met. But sometimes he'll give like someone a pair of boots for like
Right.
fucking awesome concert tickets.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, or just to get him some like exposure at like an event or something like that.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, I'll make you a pair of boots for it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's crazy. But yeah, that's true. I never really thought about it that way, but you still do that. People still do that.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that thought goes so much deeper. But I don't personally have like the understanding on it.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm sure there's like books and like there's like systems. Like people like Andrew Tate, like they know everything about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think about.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, oh, you ran out of money. Oh, we'll just print more and go into this fucking debt for printing.
Right.
Printing shit.
What does that even mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, the country just goes in debt a little more.
What do you see happening in this country in the next like 2-3 years?
Buddy, I don't. I don't know.
Like, do you think there could be like World War III going on? Do you think it's already happening? Do you think like China could just like attack us out of nowhere? Russia? What do you think they could team up? What do you think's happening in Israel? Like, it's kind of scary.
It is scary. I genuinely don't know, and I don't know who the right president is. I don't know who's right in this election. I don't know. I genuinely have no fucking clue.
So in the Bible, the way I understand it is that there's going to be a one world government that's formed.
Okay.
So this is like biblically speaking. And then basically like it gets super bad. And then like a bunch of, I think there's like earthquakes and like all this stuff, like the world basically starts to get like destroyed. And then like Jesus comes and just like in one breath, just like solves it all.
No way.
But yeah, it's the book of Revelation, the last book in the Bible where it tells like the future. It's hard to understand, but from my understanding, don't necessarily take my word from it, but that's how I understand it.
Yeah, I have a really hard time understanding, just like politics in general.
Yeah,
and like just the world.
Yeah, I don't get it. I just don't understand why we can't get an actual leader to step up and run the country.
I agree.
Like, I mean, Trump, he's decent, but like I still want like a leader that just like he understands. He has emotional intelligence.
Yes. It's like, are these the only two fucking people?
Like,
why? Yeah. I thought about that when it was Trump and Joe Biden. I'm like, these are really the only two motherfuckers who can get out here.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's got to be a point in time where it switches to the next generation.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think like there's very smart people in the millennial generation.
Right.
That like, and I guess maybe they don't mesh with the rest of the world because there's older leaders all over the place, but like at least like just better decision making where it's not all about, I mean, the government's all about money and power. That's it. Mm-hmm. That really is it. And I had another thought too, but I forget where I was going with that.
Just like the news channels, like it drives me insane.
I don't watch the news.
Yeah, like I rarely do, but like on both sides, Fox or CNN, whatever it is, like it's just like it's so fake, bro.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It's so fake.
So fake.
Yeah,
it's just pushing an agenda.
Yeah,
for the hell of it.
Yeah.
But also, dude, like just me. I don't know who I am. I don't understand why there's so much like absolute hate.
Yeah,
like. Even across the world, dude, like I've gone to other countries, like I can make friends instantly. It's just like, I don't understand the whole political side of it, of like why we all have to like hate each other and why there's like, you know what I mean? I just don't get it. It's hard for me to wrap my head around.
Yeah.
That type of stuff.
There's just a lot of division.
Yeah.
I think on a deeper level, it's spiritual warfare. Like, like it's literally God versus the devil. Like, and like they're both spirits, and like the devil like has his plan, and he's here to confuse, destroy, whatever he can do to throw people off.
Yeah.
Like LGBT. Like I don't know what your thoughts are on it, but like I think that's like the devil. Sex trafficking. It's $150 billion business. Like that's like the most evil thing that you can do.
For sure.
Like rape like kids.
Yeah.
And women, and traffic them and sell them over and over and over again.
It's crazy. Like, I've said this somewhere. I said this to someone the other week. We were talking about it. I don't remember really why. Maybe it was when I was in Mexico recently. We were like talking about it just because Mexico's kind of sketchy. But
yeah, it is.
I was just like, it is wild to me that sex trafficking exists. Mm-hmm. Like it's crazy to me that people actually do that.
Yeah,
like scoop kids.
It's one of the biggest businesses in the world.
I know, it's nuts.
And I think politicians are in it.
Yeah,
honestly.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, P. Diddy got busted for it.
P. Diddy. I mean, most of Hollywood probably. Yeah. Like politicians anywhere. Like it's wild, dude. And it's why I just don't understand it. And like, that's the other thing why like money might be the fucking devil, because like once you have so much money, it's like, oh, what do I do next? Yeah. People are always looking for that next thing, and then they get involved with people like fucking doing.
I just
crazy
don't understand
shit like
how
that.
you could be so evil.
I don't either.
You know, so that's why I literally do think that it's like spiritual warfare.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's nuts just to see all the evil that's going on in the world.
Yeah.
And like most of it we don't even know about. Like we're in America, we're in a pretty nice place. We're in Nashville.
Yeah.
So we don't even have like the right perspective on it, like what's going on with in these other countries, like Russia and probably a bunch of places in South America, Mexico
that are run by like just even different governments.
Yeah.
And where you don't have necessarily the freedom.
And it's just
that
all
we
about
have.
money. They don't care. They don't care how evil it is, man. It's just all about money.
I just don't get it, man. I don't. I literally can't wrap my head around it.
No,
I can't wrap my head around it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy.
But anything else you want to talk about?
I don't know, dude. You hammered me on the question. It was good though.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, it was good. What else?
I guess we'll finish it up. If you could ask God one question, what would it be? Like if he was just like standing in front of you and you just like could ask him anything, and he's in infinite power, infinite knowledge, intelligence. He can tell you anything. What would it be?
Damn. Selfish. I'm on the selfish side. I don't actually know if I have another answer than this.
Yeah.
But I would ask what my literally what my purpose is in life.
Yeah.
Like what is his goal? Like what am I supposed to accomplish in my life?
Dude, I love that answer. That's one of the best answers I've gotten.
Really?
Like, what's your will for my life?
Yeah.
Like I think
like what am I supposed to do for you
Yeah.
on here? Because like down here, because like I don't know.
And honestly, I think deep down, like we know. Like if we search for it and we really seek about it and we pray about it, I think like he'll give you that answer.
Man, I've been trying, buddy.
Yeah.
I've been trying.
Yeah.
I actually, that's like part of my like, all right, when you pray though, do you have like hang on, let me finish my first thought. I ask that question every night. I'm like, please like guide me into like what my purpose is supposed to be and like help me realize what that is. Cause I genuinely like openly say like, I'm like, I struggle.
Yeah. I think I kind of take back what I said. Like we know.
Yeah.
I think like if we did know, it would kind of change everything and would kind of like ruin the experience.
For sure. And I get that. It would lose like the beautifulness of like when you do find it.
Yeah.
And like you do have like that whole change. Shit. That whole change happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, it's hard finding what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think one of my regrets right now is like not trying new things like sooner, like career wise, and just like not going with passions and stuff that I have like loved my whole life. And not necessarily putting in the effort to like explore that more. But yeah, I think that's one thing I would, that's for sure the first thing I would ask him, and it's selfish and like whatever, but that would be definitely the question. And also what I was going to say is when you pray, do you have like a certain, basically like a certain thing that you pray? Like I almost like start the same way every night. You know what I mean? It's almost like a monologue, but sometimes I feel guilty about that, but I'm like, it just kind of like gets me in a rhythm and then I start like going off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Does that I don't necessarily think there's a right and wrong way to do it. I know for me, like my best prayers, or basically I just kind of like go out in nature all by myself. Like I try to just seclude myself from everything and just be out in nature. And then like some of the thoughts that I have are just, they're so clear. And I get so much clarity. And like I literally just like talk to God, or almost like just relate to life by myself. And that's when I'm like the clearest. And like, yeah, I'll pray during that time, but it's also like, I'm just like that whole time I'm just like having a conversation with God. Yeah. And I'm just like listening. Or sometimes I'll just be like silent for like a couple minutes and just kind of like I just kind of like call the Holy Spirit to talk to me. All right. So that's what I do. That's what I find the most powerful, but I think everybody's different. Yeah. Yeah.
I need to try that.
But I would say, yeah, seclude yourself and just like try to like, you want to slip into the gap between your thoughts. Like if you're thinking, that's like your imagination. But if like you're in the present moment, I think that's when God can talk to you.
Damn. Yeah.
You know, like when you're truly present, that's when you have like the ability to create, and that's when you have the ability to just like let God do the work, like surrender, like be the passenger of life. Yeah.
I feel that. I mean, that's like crazy because like I do like try and grip the bat tight and like control a lot of shit in my life. And even when I'm praying, like I catch myself like drifting off and like thinking about something else, or like doing all that stuff, and I'm like, fuck, come back. Like, yeah. So yeah, that is true. I'm gonna have to try that out.
Yeah, bro, try it out.
All right.
You want to shout yourself out where people can find you?
Yeah. Instagram is, well, my personal is Alex_Kamenca. And then my podcast is at The Wavelength on Instagram. And it's with my boy, Tyler Crispin.
Sweet, bro.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say?
No. Appreciate you having me on, dude.
Yeah, bro. It's
yeah,
fun.
this is awesome.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.